Stan, I want to start on, well, your long experience in China as a journalist there. We've seen this claim made today by a number of people that what the government's trying to do with its media reforms is Soviet-like, and the picture on the front of the Telegraph likening Stephen Conroy to Chairman Mao and others. Is there a comparison to be made here?
Well, everything's relative, isn't it? And we all got a chuckle out of that headline in the Telegraph, but the reality is no, there isn't. You know, there is a serious side to this, of course. 70 journalists were killed last year plying their trade around the world, and most of those killed trying to cover human rights issues, politics or war. There are a record 232 journalists imprisoned last year. That's according to the Committee to Protect Journalists, again covering sensitive issues like politics. And China is right at the top when it comes to that. I think Turkey, Iran and China are the three countries that jail the highest number of journalists. So when you compare that to what's happening in Australia, well, Australia doesn't figure, thankfully, in either of those lists, either dead journalists or journalists being imprisoned. But in China, it is a situation where you are constantly under watch, where your emails are intercepted, your phones are bugged, where people that you try to organise to interview are warned off, where sometimes after you've interviewed someone, they can be arrested and simply disappear, sometimes for several months. During my time there, I was arrested and detained on numerous occasions, and that would involve sometimes being frog-marched through airports and so on by up to a dozen police. You'd be held for hours at a time and questioned. All of your equipment would be searched. They'd go through your mobile phone, look for any photographs. They would delete any sensitive information. You would lose your camera tapes. You would often lose your equipment as well. Sometimes it even verged onto the physical. Producers and other reporters that I worked with were beaten up. Some were strip searched, and including one colleague of mine who was a Chinese journalist, Chinese-American, who was abused for hours on time verbally and also forced to strip down and be strip searched as well. So when you look at a country like China, they go to extraordinary lengths to crack down on media, and that's just the foreign media. When you look at the local media themselves, as I said before, there are any number of them who are serving time behind bars, many others locked down under house arrest and under serious threat if they cross the line of very, very serious consequences, David.
Yes, I'm sure we're not looking at the prospect of those sort of issues here in Australia, thankfully. Good perspective there.